What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm predicting game week 8 in the Premier League. Before we get into the video, I just want to say that if my voice sounds a bit like raspy, I am quite ill right now. And I also think that this is actually going to be the closest game week yet this season, because I've actually only predicted 2 results to be won by 2 or more goals. The rest of them are all 1-goal wins or draws. Luton against Tottenham is the first game of the game week and also one of just 2 that I actually do think are going to be won by more than 1 goal. I've gone with a 2-0 Tottenham win. Now I think Luton could make this really tricky for Spurs, but with Son being past fit, I think that he should be able to get a goal even against a low block. Luton are pretty solid defensively. We know they're going to try and defend deep and then hit Tottenham on the break. And with players like Morris, who's been in good form, they do have the ability to score a goal. And I did really consider giving it a 2-1, but I do back the Tottenham defenders. I think they are very good players. And Bakari is a very, very good goalkeeper as well. But I think going forward, Maddison, he will find some passes, and Son just needs to try and keep making runs in behind, and he should be able to get a goal. But this could be a really tricky game for Tottenham, especially with some of the injuries. Brennan Johnson and Manuel Solomon both out. Even Perisic is out, so it could be tricky, but they should still have the quality to win. Burnley against Chelsea, this is a really tight game for me. I've gone with a 2-1 Chelsea win. Both teams like to implement a similar style of football, and Burnley are the home team, but I just think Chelsea's players are much better. Defensively, I don't really trust Burnley. I think their defenders have got mistakes in them, and if Chelsea can pounce, then they should be able to win. Palmer and Mudryk were both really good in the last game, and if they can carry that over, Chelsea will fly up the table. Should I say that? They've got some really tricky games coming up, so maybe not, but they've got a win here, and I think they've got Brentford after that, so they have to win that as well if they are going to have a chance of getting into Europe, because after that their run gets really tricky. And I could see Chelsea being like 16th come Christmas, but then in the second half of the season they should be able to climb up. Everton against Bournemouth, I've gone with a 2-1 win for the Cherries. They are currently one of 2 teams that will win this in the Premier League this season, and this will be a really poor result for Everton considering they lost at home to another team who have started really poorly in Luton last week. This will mean Everton have got no home points this season in some very winnable games, and it could all turn really toxic really quickly again. And it's a shame because 2 weeks ago they beat Brentford away and they looked really good. I think Bournemouth haven't been as bad as the results have suggested. They've played 7 really tough games. They are coming to a bit of a patch where they could get some results. Starting off with this Everton one, I think they've got the quality to do so. They also have some injury issues with Adams and Scott still not being fit. Everton have performed really well at home this season, just haven't been able to put the ball in the net. And with Calvert-Lewin getting more match fitness, he could put one in, and Everton could win this. I could easily see it being 2-1 Everton, but I think it'll be really tight, and I've just edged it for Bournemouth. Fulham against Sheffield United. Sheffield United are the only other side to not win a game yet this season. And I think that trend will continue. I don't think they'll win here, but I think it will be a 1-1 draw. I haven't really been impressed with Fulham this season. They were awful in their West London derby against Chelsea last week. Overall, they're just not good enough going forward in my opinion. Raul Jimenez is way too wasteful with his chances. Tim Ream was absolutely dreadful against Chelsea as well. He made so many mistakes. Sheffield United do have a decent strike force with Archer and McBurney, and they've also got Hamer in midfield and McAtee as well, so they do have some firepower up there, and they're always going to be strong defensively despite their poor showing against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. Manchester United against Brentford, I have gone with a 2-1 Man United win. I think they can't afford to lose this. Brentford have not looked great the last few weeks, and although Manchester United have also looked dreadful and they've actually lost a lot of games at Old Trafford, I think they've just lost 3 of their last 4, and the one win was in a Carabao Cup game against Crystal Palace's B team, and that is the same team that then beat them on the it's just really poor. Erik ten Hag is under a lot of pressure, I think, or he should be at least. I have made a video on them, but I think this will go out first and then I'll release that one. Yeah, Brentford just haven't looked great this season. There's a lot of fragility in that Manchester United defence that Brentford could absolutely exploit, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it be a 2-2 or a 2-1 Brentford win even. But I think Manchester United can't, Manchester United have the players to be performing a lot better than this. Højlund's looked really good. Mount actually has looked really good the last few games as well. And I've always backed now. I've always known he's a good player. I don't know why he went to Man United when he's not even playing in his ideal role. If he goes to Newcastle, they're going to be cooking, man. He could take them to title contender level, I can't even lie. Flecken's made an awful start, I think, to his Brentford career. He's made a couple saves, but like Onana, he's made a few mistakes. And with the form Højlund's in, I'd back him to score over Wissel and Bowen, who haven't scored for a while now. and especially Vissa, he's been really poor, I feel, the last few weeks. Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest, I'm going with a 1-1 draw. Both sides have started the season fairly well. I don't really have a lot to say on this game. Both sides have strengths in attack. You know, Forest's attack on paper is actually really good, and Palace have looked good going forward as well. Obviously, Edouard missed the last game, but they still won. Palace aren't typically a team that score a lot of goals, but they also don't concede a lot of goals. They're solid defensively and they're decent enough going forward. I think this season Forest have definitely been a lot more defensively solid than they were last season. I think Mario was really, really good against Brentford. I was really impressed with him. He's really young and that was his first game, so I was really, really impressed, and I think he will have a big role to play again here. Brighton against Liverpool. This is controversial. I think Brighton are going to win 3-2. Both these sides are very, very good going forward and quite poor defensively, in my opinion. Liverpool have defended really well in a couple of games this season when they've been down a man or down 2 men, but overall, I think this Brighton attack should be able to get some goals. At the same time, they're very open, as Aston Villa showed, and Liverpool should be able to get a couple goals as well. Brighton have not been in good form. They drew their Europa League game in midweek and obviously lost against Villa last week. I do expect it to be really tight. I can see it being 3-2 to Liverpool. I can see it being a 3-3 draw, but I've gone with a Brighton win. West Ham United against Newcastle United. I've gone with a 2-1 win for Newcastle. They obviously had their fantastic win over Paris Saint-Germain midweek. There is always that risk of a European hangover, but West Ham also played in Europe and they played a day later. So Newcastle had a whole day's extra rest. And I think overall, again, this should be a pretty good game. I've been impressed with West Ham this season. I wouldn't expect them to be as good in this game as they have been in others, just because I think that they know when they need to defend and when they should be attacking teams. And I think their weak spells with West Ham are really good. Set pieces are really dangerous, but so are Newcastle. This should be a really, really entertaining game from that point of view. I think these two are probably the two best sides at set pieces in the whole league. There'll be a lot of good players on the pitch in this game, a lot of players in really good form, players from West Ham like Paquetá, Bowen has been really, really good, Ward-Prowse, Edson Alvarez I think has been really underrated as well. And from Newcastle, obviously Trippier, I think Fabian Schär's been pretty good and not really talked about. Longstaff's been really good. Even Bruno, I think he's definitely upped his level since the start of the season. But they are going to be missing Gordon now with Harvey Barnes also injured. That could be a bit of a problem area, although I think Elliot Anderson will probably slot in there, maybe Joelinton will slot in there. Isak did get a head injury against PSG, but I don't think it was too serious. Hopefully it wasn't, because he's a really good player and it would be a shame to miss this game. I just think Newcastle have a bit more quality. I think the way they play is just a bit more likely to get a result. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Aston Villa. This is the other game that I'm predicting a win by 2+ goals. I've gone with a 3-1 Aston Villa win. As much as I dislike Wolves, I will admit they've been much better this season than I thought they were going to be. Aston Villa have been better than I thought they were going to be as well, and I actually thought they'd be alright this season, but they've been really good, especially in the last few games in the Premier League. In Europe, it's not been quite smooth for them. They had to get a very late winner on Thursday night, but I do think that they should be able to win here. They've got a much stronger squad, and although Wolves had a really, really good result last week, I wouldn't expect a Villa to allow them to win here. It should be a Villa win, hopefully, please. Watkins is in too good form for me to say he's not going to score here, and Diaby as well has been really, really good this season. But I think they should be able to combine for a couple goals. And the final game of the week, Arsenal against Manchester City, potentially a title decider. I'm not going to lie here, I don't really know what to expect for this game, because it could either be a really, really good game or it could be a really boring game, considering both teams really like to have a lot of possession. It could be one of those games where there's less than 15 shots in total, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Bukayo Saka should be able to play a part in this game, but I'm not sure if he'll be fit enough to start. That's a real shame for Arsenal, because he's one of the best players in the world. Manchester City obviously going to be missing both Rodri and De Bruyne. That's huge holes in the midfield that Wolves were able to exploit last week. Arsenal aren't going to be sitting back as much as Wolves were. They obviously hit them on the counter-attack a lot, which was the game plan, and it worked perfectly for Wolves. But Arsenal are too good to be doing that, in my opinion. They have to be going toe-to-toe, especially since they're the home team. Yeah, I think Doku could be really dangerous in this game. I mean, maybe that's because I love him, but I think he'll be really good. With that being said, as the home side, I'm going to back Arsenal. I'm going 2-1 to the Gunners. If Arsenal win here, Manchester City will have lost 3 out of their last 4 games, which would be incredible. For a side as good as them, that would be unacceptable. But I genuinely do believe in this Arsenal team. Both sides have shown weaknesses this season, and this is a game where both sides have to be at 100%. And I'm going to back Arsenal to get the job done. Those are my predictions. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you soon for another video.